For my guest today, Dance is Activism. Lia Rodrigues has been using movement to break down barriers, to put art within everyone's reach, and to argue lyrically and persuasively for more inclusion and more diversity. The choreographer and dancer founded companies and launched a festival in her native Brazil. She's an invited artist here in Paris for a special season of her work at the Festival d'Automne. Lia joins us now in the studio. Hello, Lia.
Hello.
Now, you've performed a few of your shows as part of that season here in Paris, and now Encantado, a new creation. The title translates as enchanted. It makes us think of witchcraft, of spells. Can you tell us about this magic that you're creating on stage?
Yes, but Encantado was created in Rio de Janeiro, where I'm based and I live actually. And this word can have many different meanings. And one of them is connected to a special entity from the Afro-Indigenous culture. So there are entities that live between the heaven and the earth, and they protected us. So this was a little bit the way that I entered through the creation.
A very spiritual dimension there. Let's take a look at a short extract of the show. This is Encantado. Now, I must point out that some of the singing you can hear there in the show is from the Guarani Mibia people during a protest that was recorded in Brasilia. Why is music an important part of that show?
I think everybody knows that we are living in Brazil in a very hard moment with a president that is a fascist president that don't protect anything. He has a real project of destruction. Not only the environment, but also indigenous people, black people, art, culture, everything, democratic institutions. So everybody is living this hard time in Brazil. And I think especially indigenous people, they struggle a lot because they want to invade Amazonia and other parts to take gold, etc., these big companies. And Bolsonaro is open this door. So this protest was in August and September this year in Brasilia, where around 6,000 indigenous people from different ethnies were there to protest.
Yeah, definitely an important moment in Brazil's social political history. We'll be coming back to that. But just to go back to the show, I believe that choosing those dancers who appear in Encantado was a tricky process. You did some of the casting online. How did that work?
Was different for me. It was a new experience also for everybody, I guess, in the world, around the world. We had to invent new forms. So make audition online I had more or less 200 people that try to get in the company. And I first had many conversations, and then finally we decided to meet personally in Art Center where I work in Favela da Maré in Rio.
Indeed, we spoke to someone who had that experience, one of your dancers, Mateus, who told us more about the everyday challenges of working in the arts.
The place that we used to rehearsal in Favela da Maré, in the Complexo da Maré, is completely it has an everyday interference of the political and policial system in Rio. In the place that it's, I would say, the heart of the city, because that is where the city is mostly true to itself. We as Brazilian people, we are constantly fighting to show our artistic manifestation to the world, but especially to Brazilian people, because this is where we belong, and Brazil is completely thirsty for that manifestation.
Now, as Mateus mentions there, your company, an art centre, operates in the Maré community in Rio. The idea, I think, originally was to extend the performing arts education to cultures that don't always have access to them. Now, these sort of projects are often seen like charity, like somebody established, like yourself, giving something to another community. But what about the reverse? What did you get out of what you do in the Maré?
First of all, I'm not alone in this project because I am together with an NGO called Redes da Maré. And they are working there and they lived there for around 20 years. And I arrived there in 2004, not with a project, but to learn something and to build together a project that was good for them, what they want. And I was there with the thing that I know how to do is dance. So we create this art center together with Redes da Maré, and then our dance school that has actually 350 students. And the thing is to offer the opportunity to democratize, I don't know how to say it.
Democratize, yeah.
Democratize the art and culture.
Indeed, there seems to be a real give and take there. And as you mentioned, there's this strong social component to the work being done in the Maré, seeking to improve the lives of people living there. That's become even more urgent with COVID, I believe.
I think always in Brazil. I have to say that Brazil is a very unequal and racist country. As a white woman, middle class, with all the privilege I have my responsibility. So everybody has a responsibility when you live in a country like this. So I try to make a little bit that is necessary to go against this inequality and this racism system.
Mm-hmm. Now, as we mentioned, you're here in Paris as an associate of the Théâtre de Chaillot. You've also been an associate artist at the 104 Art Centre as well since 2018. Now, that time also matches up to a very turbulent time in Brazil's social, political, cultural scene. In the Ministry of Culture, there have been comings and goings. For you as an artist, is this the best way to keep creating, to leave the country?
I'm not leaving my country. Actually, all my projects are based in Rio de Janeiro, in the favela da Maré. So I'm not leaving. I come here to collect money and to go there, to make my work there. Not only my work as an artist, but the work together with the art center, the dance school. But we don't, especially me, I don't have money from my country. So I have a very strong connection with my partner here in France especially, but all around Europe. And they support really my work. I can only survive because of this. I always say to everybody that I thanks very much for the taxes that you pay, because they come to us, to our project there. And I think this way is a very generous way to work. I believe in a world that you have to give hands if we are very far from each other.
Indeed. Now, Encantado, as we said, talks about the link between mind and body and spirit, but also about our relationship with the land. Now, that's something that's featured in another show here in Paris recently, also in the Festival d'Automne. The Moon is in Amazonia. This was made by the Colombian company Mapa Teatro. That show speaks of Indigenous people defending their heritage. And there have been quite a few exhibitions, performances here in France focusing on that question. The Yanomami people, as photographed by Claudia Andujar, Sebastián Salgado's photographs as well. Is there the same interest in Indigenous stories in Brazil?
Of course, you have many people that are doing this. This last Biennial of Arts was together with Indigenous artists. So it's not something that is only here. It's of course there, and there are many groups and civil society that are organized to put this subject in light.
Now, as we see from the collective form of your shows, you are a great believer in the power of the collective, collaboration, bodies coming together and forming something greater than themselves. But at a time when politics or cultural wars divide us, what unites us?
I think, I don't know exactly what to say, but I believe I learn a lot, as you said before. I learn a lot with people from the favelas, because they say yes to life while life say no to them. So I learn with them how to be together, how to build everything from nothing. And this I learn every day. So I don't consider myself an activist. I am how do you say, citizen. And as a citizen, I have to do something. So I learn from them. I think this is the most strong thing, because they are not, when I think about favela, you think, they have nothing, etc. But it's not true. They have enormous joie de vivre. They have enormous inventive. They create ways to live. And this I learn as an artist, as a citizen. They teach me all the time.
Huge natural resources of creativity there.
Yeah.
Lia Rodrigues, thank you so much for joining us
you.
today. Encantado is going on tour across France after its shows here in Paris. But let's wrap up the show with another of Lia's shows, inspired by the fables of La Fontaine. This is Lia Rodrigues' version of Against Those Who Have Difficult Taste. Do remember to check out our website for more arts and culture, and our social media feeds too. There's more news coming up on France 24 just after this.